Hey, what's up? I'm Gary from Raz Rentals, and today I'm going to talk about the brand new Traag and Granitor figures from Neca in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Toon line. As a collector, the past couple days have been an emotional roller coaster. um, these guys have been showing up for the past couple weeks. They were supposed to come out in October, but they've been showing up in Targets starting in September. On October 2nd, NECA announced that Traag and Granitor were going to be released on the Target website. So, I, like most people, had their their web browser stuck on Target all day refreshing. When are they going to pop up? When are they going to pop up? When are they going to pop up? Well, guess what? They never popped up on the second. And the whole weekend passed. They never popped up. Nothing happened. Didn't hear anything. And then yesterday on Monday, I was checking like every half an hour to see if these guys would pop up. And of course, I start watching a TV show at 5 o'clock that's an hour long. At the end of it, I check my messages. I got a message from somebody I know, and they said Traag and Granitor were put up about 50 minutes before that. So I, of course, missed them. I thought, like, what's going to happen now? How am I going to find these guys? And then, lo and behold, today I go to my Target just one day later, and there I find them, Traag and Granitor. So this is the cool box that these figures come in. Now, this is the standard NECA Toon box, and I'm pretty sure that this is just kind of like based off of the Turtle Van. I mean, you got the yellow on the bottom, and you got the green on top. You got some really nice pics of the guys. Now, I'm super excited for this guy, Zork. I like all these Triceratons, but that green Triceraton there, he's really calling out to me. You got Granitor on the side. I'm going to have a hard time saying that guy's name. So, I'm going to pop these guys open, warm up the joints a little bit, and let's talk and see what's going on with them. So now that I've freed these guys from their prison of packaging, I gotta say these guys look amazing. I really love how they look. NECA did an amazing job building these guys. I think that they look pretty much just like the rock soldiers you'd want to see. They're slightly different than the cartoon. In the cartoon, they're not as defined, like the muscles and stuff like that in their chests and in their stomachs aren't really there. They're more like big, bulky rock type of characters with just kind of like random bulges and stuff like that. So they did a really nice job of making them like this. I think that they were making them look more like the arcade figures. In the arcade game, they actually do have their muscles cut out a little bit. His like arms are a little bit more defined in the arcade. Yeah, like they're defined in the cartoon, but just not as much. And I was really excited for this set because this is the first time we've ever gotten a Granitor figure. And this guy, he left such a long-lasting impression on me. Like, whenever I think of the Rock Soldiers, I always think of General Traag and Granitor. And Granitor was only in one episode. He was only in episode 4 of the original cartoon, and that was it. And other than that, I guess I might remember him from the Back to the Sewers game on Game Boy. I used to play the arcade game, but when I was a kid, I never got up far enough to get to Granitor. So, yeah, just that one episode, that's how I always remember him. Alright, so if you take a look at the sculpts for these guys, if you remember the original pictures that are up, you could probably check like Toy Arc or something like that, of these guys from when they were first announced all the way back in 2017, I think, and they were originally arcade figures. These guys had different heads. General Traag had a helmet that came down almost over his eyes, and Granitor here had more of a smile kind of face, and his head was a little bit shaped a little differently. Other than that, everything else looks the same, except for the weapon that comes with these guys, but I'll get to that in a minute. If you look at these guys' sculpts, you'll notice that the chest pieces are the same. The lower torso is completely the same. Even the belt and the holster here is the same. The legs, completely the same. But I think that, you know, this chess piece, they added this little, you know, collar for him, and up here he just has a bigger shoulders, or bigger rocks on his on the tops of his shoulders. So that's a little different. Of course, Granitor comes with these giant bicep shoulder pieces that really make him stand out and look cool. Now they have the same hands. You know, like sometimes people get tired of getting reused parts and stuff like that, but it really doesn't bug me with these guys. I think they look fantastic, so I don't really care. The different colors make them look different enough. But I'm going to blow your mind right now. Now, if you look at Traag's arms, his forearms, they like, you know, taper off down at the wrist like a regular forearm. Now his don't do that. You know, they start off small and they get bigger at the wrist. Now, what they did was they just flipped that forearm for both sides. They flipped it. So that's what they did there. The backs look really nice. I really like the highlights on Granitor. I think they did a really nice job. They sort of have like the Toon coloring and the shadows, but it's just not as noticeable on these guys. I guess because they're made out of rocks, they didn't really put a lot of detail into that. He's got like a little bit of that going on. The cell shaded shading. Now, when it comes to articulation, Granitor here has some pretty nice points. You could move it in the bottom of his neck, inside of there, and then you could also move it right below his head. And he's got a really skinny neck, but it looks good. His shoulders are double jointed, so he has rotation here and he has rotation over here. And it's kind of hard to get both of them to do what you want at first. This one was kind of stuck here. It was stuck in the actual like shoulder. But other than that, I can't get it now either. So you gotta you really gotta push on this piece and try to get that one going. And then you just have rotation. You can get a lot of nice of movements and poses that way. Like because of that joint like that, you could actually have him turn his arm in. This side moves a little easier. He's got double jointed elbows, same thing as Traag, and he's got his wrists here. They have a swivel and they have the hinge. He doesn't have any interchangeable hands, which is okay. He has like a rockin' upper torso. Sometimes it like will get stuck and look a little funky, but you just gotta like figure out how to get it back in place. Now, at first, it was hard for me to rotate these guys' thighs here. The thigh joint. Up here you have like a ball joint inside the pelvis. But I could get it moving after a while. The only problem is now his legs are a little looser than Traag's. Traag's are pretty stiff still, and his legs are pretty loose. He only has one joint in his knee, but he's got a swivel and a hinge. He doesn't have a boot cut or anything here to rotate that. His feet have a hinge and they have a ankle rocker. So, and those work pretty good. I haven't experimented too much with these guys to see what kind of poses you can get them in. I mean, they're rock soldiers, so they're probably, you would imagine that they'd be pretty stiff to begin with. So you probably wouldn't be getting like crazy agile poses with them. General Traag pretty much has the same exact articulation. I did forget to mention that the double jointed elbows They do swivel on the top and the bottom, as well as having the hinge there. Now, Traag's shoulders are different. They only have one point here where, you know, he could rotate it all the way around, and he could also, he just has a little piece of paint was chipping off there. He can also, he's got a hinge, so he can go up to here and rotate out. But he has no bicep swivel. So I kind of wish maybe he did have a bicep swivel, just so you could get a little bit different. There, he kind of looks like he's like, "No, turtles, I don't want to fight. I just want to hug you guys." So, other than that, everything is pretty much the same. He doesn't have, I don't think that moves. No, the bottom of his neck doesn't move, but his head is just, his head can move around pretty well. Which way did he go? The bottom of these guys' boots have a real nice design and treads for walking and stomping on turtles. They got pegs on, or peg holes on the bottom of them. Now, this isn't a complaint, but it is a little strange to me that the hole isn't at the heel, but it's where the toes are. Now that I've been trying to pose him for a little while, I kind of do wish that he did have interchangeable hands, just to give him a fist, because, you know, right now all he has is these trigger hands. So it'd be nice if he actually had a fist that if he, you know, you wanted to pose him without his gun, he could still be able to attack the turtles. Oh, Granitor, I'm so sorry. So, you know, like, it'd be nice if he could punch him, or he could just have it where he's just like pounding on him. Just something to make it different. So, you know, Neca, if you're watching, you come out with an accessories pack for these guys, or the Turtle Toon line. Make some fists. These guys both come with the same gun. This blue pistol. This looks really nice. Now, if you remember, when they did announce these guys for the arcade series, they came with like giant blasters and rifles. So I'm hoping that if they do put these guys out for the Turtles in Time or whatever arcade, you know, game they want to call it, I hope they come with those guns, because those guns looked amazing. And these look cool, but those things were huge, and they just looked really dangerous for the Ninja Turtles. So, you know, it fits in the guy's hand pretty nice. Or if you want to, you could put it in the holster. And there you go. These guys also come with a new communicator. Well, it has a new picture. And that Krang in this communicator looks different than the Krang in the original communicator. So I'm wondering if the Krang in the android body has a different face sculpt. That'd be pretty cool. They come with a gray Ooze canister. Now, the one that came out before was this blue color. So, I'm not sure which one I prefer of these. I like both of them. They also come with these amazing wanted posters. Now, you may not be able to see them, but if I use some magic powers, you can see what they got going on here. They're wanted posters for the Neutrinos. You have Kala, Dask, and Zack. Now, General Traag, of course, was released before in the Playmates line, and this is pretty much the only other Rock Soldier toy I think that they've put out. The Rock Soldiers weren't in the 2003 cartoon, so they had no toys, and in the 2012 cartoon, Granitor was in it, but he looked completely different, and he was like a giant rock guy, like he was huge. So this is pretty much it for the Rock Soldiers, and, you know, it's pretty funny because they were they stood out so much in that cartoon when you thought of who the Ninja Turtles were fighting. It was like always the Robot Foot Clan and Krang's Rock Soldiers. So if you look at these guys, they're completely different. I mean, everything about him it's pretty much different. You wouldn't even know that they're the same guy, except for the helmet, maybe. I don't hate to mention it because this is, you know, a NECA review, but I'm really excited to see what Super 7 does with this guy. You know, I can't wait to see their new version. If he's going to be like gigantic and super powerful looking next to their new figures. And you could also, you know, cross them over and have them fight the NECA Toon turtles if you want to. Pretty much your options are so big right now with what you want to do with these guys and how you want to set them up in your display. I always loved the animals on this guy. The snake, the spider, the scorpion. I'm really happy with where NECA's been going with all these Toon releases. They pretty much match everything you remember from the cartoon and, you know, maybe even like the comic, like the Archie comic or the video games. So I'm really happy to see them go back and, you know, bring out these toys that we never had. Like, I love the Playmates toys, but, you know, they're different. I love the designs of those, but it's also cool, it's really cool, to see the cartoons, the cartoon characters, how they looked. And I feel like, you know, the scale of these guys looks really great, too. Like, I think they made the turtles the perfect size so that they can make these semi-bigger guys and really make them look imposing and menacing and, you know, an actual threat for the turtles. Where, you know, lots of toy lines like the 2012 cartoon line, you know, lots of times those enemies in that line were smaller than the turtles. And it's like, what's up with that, you know? Like, the enemies should look stronger than the turtles. The turtles should look like they're going to have a hard time fighting these guys. And that's exactly what these guys look like. I mean, they look like rock soldiers. They look exactly how you wanted them to look from the cartoon. So, you know, I'm just really excited to see where NECA's going from here. I'm excited to see Splinter. Well, I mean, they have Splinter, but I'm really looking forward to getting him in hands because he looks like the Splinter I always wanted. One last thing, in case you were wondering. You know, these guys look really great with the NECA Ninja Turtles, but how do they look with the Super 7 Turtles? Well, here you go. You could use these guys to fight this guy too. They're bigger. They still fit in scale with him. So that even though he's a bigger turtle, a lot bigger, a little bigger than the NECA figures, they still dwarf him. Oh, see that? They took him right out. This is truly the best time to be a Ninja Turtle fan, you know, other than growing up with them way back in the 80s. I mean, check out the range. You really can't go wrong with how you want to mix, match, and set these guys up. I mean, NECA's doing great. Super 7's doing great. It's great. If seeing this terrible trio together doesn't take you back to the past, then I don't know what will, because, you know, when I think of Krang, I think of his loyal rock soldiers. Shredder, to me, controls the Foot Clan, and Krang controls the rock soldiers. So I'm really excited to see what's going to be, where this line's going to go. Originally, I thought we were going to get the 4 turtles, Shredder, Krang, those 2 foot soldiers, and, you know, I thought that was going to be it. I had no idea that we were going to get Bebop and Rocksteady and eventually these amazing looking rock soldiers. I thought Playmates was going to step in, you know, put an end to all of our fun and be like, that's it, you can't release them, and if you do release anything, you can only release them in the Comic-Cons. But nope, now we finally got a huge line moving, prospering. I can't wait to see what happens in 2021. I assume we're going to get the Neutrinos. And, you know, when the Neutrinos do come out, I hope that they include General Traag's weather device. Because in the episode that him and Granitor first appear, he uses a weather device to make it snow uncontrollably in New York. I think maybe they should have included that in this 2-pack, but, you know, it's not too late. Like I said, I'm really impressed by these guys. They fit this line perfectly. They look imposing. I mean, what more could you want? So, let me know in the comments what you think. Did you guys find them? Did you find them online? You know, you're still looking for them? Hopefully you'll get them. NECA has said that they aren't having any more pre-orders for the rest of the year. So hopefully, if you can't get them in store and you can't buy them online from Target, you know, hopefully next year, hopefully early, they'll have pre-orders for these guys, and you know, have pre-orders for everybody that they've put out that people can't find, because some of this hunting gets a little ridiculous. So, you know, good luck.